Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. Today I am going to continue our lecture with chapter 2. Okay, so the topic for today is methodology for data preparation. So as you know, this topic will be covered in 3 weeks time. Okay, so please refer to our scheme of work. So that means this chapter is is very significant, okay, for this course. Okay, and it contributes quite a big percentage for your project development. Okay, so it will the content of this course will get more exciting, okay, because you will learn in detail, okay, about how to prepare data for analysis before you can produce your data visualization. Okay, so let us see, okay, what are the chapter outline for this chapter. Okay, so 2.1 defining target audience, and 2.2 is to understand data context. So these two subtopic, okay, or subchapter will be covered in week 3. Okay, so which is today, and then data acquisition and data preparation will be covered in week 4. Okay, and then during week 5 we will also do the data acquisition operation, and also with the last part, that is designing interactive dashboard. Okay, so if you don't understand, okay, on this lecture, anything about this lecture, so you may ask later in the class or during the chat room. Okay, so it is very important for you to understand this topic. Okay, so remember that I have given you the link of the Google Talk by the author of the main textbooks that we use for this class. Okay, so please listen, okay, to the talk, okay, again and again if you don't understand, if you quite confused with this topic, because that talk will give you, okay, more understanding about this topic in general. Okay, so then these are the lesson objectives. Okay, there are quite a lot. Okay, so it comprised for all the chapter outline. Okay, so today we will cover 2.1 and 2.2. Okay, so the first lesson objective is to be able to define target audience. So what is target audience, who is target audience, and then the second is to be able to describe data within context. Okay, so we have to know the boundary or the scope of the data that we want to analyze and we want to visualize later. Okay, and then the third one, okay, this is to cover in the week 4. Okay, to understand the importance of data preparation. Okay, so why it is very important for us to prepare the data. Okay, so then we are also going to learn what are the stages of data preparation and also data transformation. Okay, so and then we want also to know what are the different types of data cleansing. Okay, data cleansing and data cleaning are the same thing. Okay, and then okay, the last part of this chapter is about dashboard, creating dashboard. So we want to understand the characteristics of good dashboard. Okay, characteristics of good dashboard, and then we also want to know what are the different types of dashboard. Okay, and then the last one is to be able to design interactive dashboard. Okay, by the way, you will learn this, okay, now on how to develop, okay, dashboard in the lab session. Okay, so we will learn how to develop interactive dashboard using Microsoft Excel. Okay, so first, what is target audience? Okay, so I'm sure you know what does audience mean. Okay, a target audience is the specific group of people, okay, group of people who has a need to communicate with who has a need to communicate data, who has a need to communicate with data, whether they work with the data in daily basis or in less frequent basis, meaning that in the context of this course or of this topic of data visualization, the target audience that we talk about is people who have interest, okay, who has interest to know about the data that we are going to analyze and the data that we are going to visualize. Okay, so these people, they have a need to communicate with the data. Okay, whether they work the data in daily basis or in less frequent basis. So in daily basis, maybe okay, could be a worker, okay, or a manager, okay, or CEO of an organization, okay, and people who work with the data in less frequent basis could be anyone, okay, anyone who might have slight interest, who might want to know, okay, the information, okay, they could be someone from the public, okay. So so meaning here we have to justify, okay, who has interest with our data, so that when we design and develop our data visualization, so it will comprise, or it can achieve, okay, the requirements, okay, that is needed by this target audience, okay. So this target audience are the people who has interest with the data, okay. So always think who your audience is, okay, meaning that you have to justify who they are, okay, and how you want them to use that information, okay. Because when you put information in front of them, okay, so you might them to appreciate the information or the visualization that you produce, so that they can understand, okay. So with that, so just you have to the designing, okay, of the data, okay, has to make sure that you concerned about them, okay. So you have to always think who your audience is and how you want them to use the information that you are putting in front of them, okay. And then just designing thoughtfully with that in mind. So meaning that you have to always think of them, okay, so that you are not doing something that will not be appreciated by them, okay. For example, if you want to produce some okay, visuals for children, okay, for children, they wouldn't understand such a complex, okay, visual, okay. You might want to have like elements of uh, funny things, okay, with something that can appreciate, okay. So the audience is different with if you were to present the data for a large or at adult level audience, okay. So meaning that we have to design thoughtfully, okay, about depending who our audience is, okay. So if we know, okay, our audience, so we will design the visual based on according to their interests, okay. So your data visualization must be framed around the information, okay, must be framed around the information your audience already has, okay, in order to inform them, okay, and then to counter their misconceptions means that something that they have, maybe they got confused with, okay, maybe they think differently from what the real facts is, or what the real facts are, okay. So you have to counter their misconceptions. So mean that you have to okay, produce or give the right, okay, information, okay, the right visualization for them, so they will not have a different understanding about the data, okay. And then also it will have to update, okay, or build, okay, the audience existing knowledge. So maybe before they have some knowledge about, maybe you are doing a visualization about the COVID-19, okay, cases in Malaysia, okay. So probably they have some little information or some little knowledge about COVID-19, but then when you supply them, okay, with some visualization about the real statistic, okay, with the maybe what are the symptoms, what are the causes, the reason of why COVID-19 cases are rising, okay, even though we have applied so many okay, standard of procedure how to prevent COVID-19. So that might help them to update, okay, to update their existing knowledge, okay. For those who have not the knowledge yet, so it will build their existing knowledge, okay. So you have to remember that your data visualization must be framed around the information your audience already has. meaning that what information that they have, okay, so you use the information, okay, counter their misconception, okay, in order to update or build their existing knowledge. Okay, so when designing a data visualization, you must clearly consider your target audience. Okay, this is very important. You must clearly consider your target audience. Okay, these are the questions that you can ask yourself, okay, before you present your visualization. Okay, the first one, through what medium, okay, will the data visualization be conveyed, and for what purpose? So how are you going to convey? How are you going to convey means how you're going to represent, how can you communicate with them, okay, through what medium? So are you going to communicate through social media, through a poster or whatsoever? So think of the medium, okay, and then what is the purpose for you presenting that visualization? And then you have also to understand or to maybe justify, okay, observe the skill level of your audience, okay, so whether do they know how to read or uh, how to visualize, okay, I mean how to understand, okay, some visual that you are presenting, okay. And then what response do you want to invoke through the visualization? So what do you think that you want to get? Okay, so so probably, okay, if you do a very clear visualization, so you might get feedback from them, okay, because that is what we want, okay, that would help us to maybe improve, okay, the next analysis, okay. Okay, and then after you formulate the answers to these questions in your mind, so you already you are actually ready to design your visualization, okay. You can use actually pen and paper just to create visualization, and then build it in digital form, okay. So you can use any tools, okay, that you want, okay. So if, for example, in this course, okay, we will use Microsoft Excel, but there are other tools that can be used. Okay, so to know your audience, okay, how do you want to get to know your audience? So you have to start by asking yourself, who is the data visualization intended for? Okay, so is the visualization intended for public dissemination? Is it for just for general audience, or a more specific technical audience? Okay, so if you are designing the visualization for general audience, so you have to make sure that you don't know, there are many different level of audience, okay, different level of audience background, different level of education background, okay, their social skill level, their I mean to because they will have different acceptance, okay, towards what you are presenting, okay. So when you have a general audience, meaning that you must bear in mind that your visualization, okay, can be or could be understood, okay, by this various level of audience, because they are from different age, okay, different background, different community, okay, different social level in community, okay, different education background and so on, okay. So whereas if you have a more specific technical audience, so you can present them with a more technical visualization, okay. And then second is you have to ask yourself, what does the audience know about the topic, okay. So once you understand who your audience is, you must also consider what they want from your data visualization, okay. So the level of audience background knowledge has effect on how you present the information, and the level of specificity that they expect, okay. Specificity is the depth of the information, okay, the detail of the information that they expect, okay. So meaning that here, because you must remember, our main objective is to make sure that all the requirements of our audience, okay, is achieved, can be presented in the visualization that they want, okay. So so you have to capture all the information, and you have to digest the information, okay, and then you have to use the information wisely and produce a good visualization, okay, so that they can appreciate, okay, the information, okay. So we have to know what they want, okay. So with their intention of what they want with the data visualization. So it helps you to build, okay, the right visualization. Okay, so this is very important. So, okay, once you have identified your audience, you have to consider their context. Okay, because the same data table can mean different things, okay, to different people. So imagine you have one Excel worksheet, okay, of data in a table. Then if you present a visualization for different people, okay, so it will mean different, it will give different meaning. Okay, so you have to consider their context, because we can produce various charts out of it, okay, various representation. Okay, so and you also have learned how to build different kind of charts. Okay, so this is very important. Okay, you have to identify your audience, consider their context, and then it will help us to produce the right visualization for that specific audience.